the epic battle between Pepsi and Coca-Cola. One of the most recognizable and long-lasting business rivalries in history is that between Pepsi and Coca-Cola. The global soft drink business has been defined by this decades-long conflict, which has also had a significant impact on pop culture, consumer behavior, and marketing tactics. However, how did this intense competition start? What factors propelled these two businesses to become dominant? And how have they handled intense competition, shifting consumer preferences, and market shifts? This video will go into great detail on the history of Pepsi and Coca-Cola, their titanic conflict, the tactics they employed to win, and the difficulties they encountered. The history of Pepsi and Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, a giant's birth. When Dr. John Stith Pemberton established the Coca-Cola Company in Atlanta, Georgia, in 1886, it was first sold as a medicinal tonic. The formula for Coca-Cola was developed by pharmacist Pemberton as a treatment for headaches and other conditions. It contained caffeine from cola nut extract and coca leaf extract. Coca and cola, two of the drink's primary ingredients, inspired the name. Asa Candler, a businessman who recognized the potential for mass marketing, took over the company after Pemberton's death in 1888. Coca-Cola gained widespread recognition for its unique flavor and refreshing qualities under Candler's direction. Coca-Cola had established itself as one of the most well-liked sodas in the U.S. by the turn of the 20th century. Its advertising campaigns, which highlighted how refreshing the drink was, set the stage for what would eventually grow to be the most well-known brand in the world. Pepsi, a novel rival. In contrast, Caleb Bradham, a pharmacist from New Bern, North Carolina, invented Pepsi in 1893. It was first known as Brad's drink, but in 1898 it was renamed Pepsi Cola. Similar to Coca-Cola, Pepsi started out as a medicinal tonic meant to help with digestion. By the early 1900s, Pepsi Cola had developed a devoted following thanks to Bradham's marketing of the beverage as a less expensive substitute for Coca-Cola. During the Great Depression, Pepsi experienced its first notable setback. Pepsi gave consumers more value for their money by introducing a 12-ounce bottle at the same price as Coca-Cola's 6-ounce bottle, but Coca-Cola maintained its customary pricing point. During difficult economic times, Pepsi gained traction thanks to this calculated strategy. The conflict starts. 1900 to 1950, competition's formative years. Coca-Cola was the most popular soft drink in America by the early 20th century. But Pepsi wasn't far behind. During the 1900s, Pepsi and Coca-Cola started to forge own identities. Pepsi positioned itself as the beverage of the people, while Coca-Cola continued to be associated with celebration and refreshment. The first major conflict between the two firms occurred in the 1930s and 1940s. Coca-Cola was the most popular soft drink brand in the U.S. in 1931, but Pepsi was catching up, partly because of its cheaper pricing and bigger bottle size. Coca-Cola increased its marketing efforts in response, focusing especially on its reputation as a joyous and happy beverage. Coca-Cola solidified its position in American culture by showcasing its iconic contour bottle design in a pavilion at the 1939-40 New York World's Fair. Marketing wars and the Pepsi generation. Coca-Cola remained the market leader, but Pepsi's marketing technique changed in the 1950s, when it adopted a daring new plan that catered to a younger demographic. The Pepsi generation, a marketing initiative that positioned Pepsi as the beverage of the future, began at this time. Pepsi started making significant investments in television commercials, which at the time were the most popular advertising medium, and its advertisements included images of young people. Coca-Cola, on the other hand, stuck to more conventional strategies, emphasizing its long-standing connection to American family life and values. While Coca-Cola's iconic Hilltop advertisement from 1971, in which people from many cultural backgrounds sang, "I'd like to buy the world a Coke," was a turning point in the company's advertising history, Pepsi had already begun to establish itself as the beverage of the younger generation. The 1980s to 2000s Cola Wars, aggressive marketing, and the Pepsi Challenge. Pepsi and Coca-Cola engaged in intense competition during the 1980s and 1990s, a time period commonly referred to as the Cola Wars. In an effort to outperform one another, both businesses at the time went all out with their marketing tactics, creating enormous ad campaigns, celebrity endorsements, and creative promos. The Pepsi Challenge, a blind taste test campaign that was first launched in 1975, was one of the most well-known marketing campaigns of this era. Customers were asked to taste both Pepsi and Coca-Cola in the Pepsi Challenge. but they were not told which was which. Coca-Cola's market dominance was directly challenged by the taste test results, which indicated that many consumers preferred Pepsi's flavor. Pepsi's market share started to increase as a result of the campaign's enormous success. Coca-Cola responded by stepping up its marketing efforts and even launching New Coke, a new beverage, in 1985. Coca-Cola was reformed as New Coke, which had a sweeter flavor akin to Pepsi. But there was an instant and severe pushback from devoted Coca-Cola customers. One of the most well-known marketing blunders in history occurred when Coca-Cola was compelled to restore the original formula a few months later due to the overwhelming public outrage, the growth of celebrity support. The extensive use of celebrity sponsorships was another crucial component of the Cola Wars. By enlisting well-known celebrities like Beyoncé, Britney Spears, and Michael Jackson to promote their product, Pepsi became the first company to fully embrace celebrity culture. Pepsi was able to attract a younger, trendier audience because to these well-known collaborations. Coca-Cola, on the other hand, concentrated on more conventional and family-friendly advertising, but it also included a number of celebrities, such as the well-known Coca-Cola polar bears from the 1990s. The 1971 Hilltop commercial, which featured young people from all over the world joining together to sing "I'd Like to Buy the World a Coke," is among the most famous advertisements in Coca-Cola's history. It sent a message of peace and unity that touched people all around the world. Contemporary competition, 2000s to present diversification and innovation. Both businesses started expanding their product lines beyond conventional sodas in the 2000s. Coca-Cola increased its product line by adding juices, Minute Maid, sports drinks, Powerade, and bottled water, the Dasani, while PepsiCo entered the snack food market by acquiring Frito-Lay, solidifying its position as a major force in both the beverage and food industries. With the introduction of Pepsi Max and Diet Coke by Coca-Cola, both corporations also started to concentrate more on health-conscious goods. Despite these initiatives, shifting customer preferences remained a problem for both businesses. Both Pepsi and Coca-Cola began making investments in healthier substitutes, such as energy drinks, bottled water, and low-calorie sodas. As worries about sugary drinks and obesity increased, competition from automakers in China. Both Pepsi and Coca-Cola have seen fresh difficulties in recent years, particularly from foreign rivals. The emergence of Chinese beverage firms, which have established a major presence in the worldwide market, is arguably one of the most noteworthy developments. Both Pepsi and Coca-Cola now face fierce competition from companies like Nongfu Spring and Tingyi, who manufacture bottled water, teas, and soft drinks, especially in developing nations like China and Southeast Asia. Chinese businesses have benefited from their capacity to accommodate regional preferences by creating drinks especially for the Chinese market. For instance, in order to compete with these emerging rivals, Coca-Cola and Pepsi have had to modify their marketing tactics and provide new flavors in order to tailor their goods to local tastes. Cultural impact in marketing. Global culture has also witnessed the competition between Pepsi and Coca-Cola. Both businesses have contributed significantly to the development of advertising and marketing culture through their recognizable ads and sponsorships of important events like the Olympics and Super Bowl. Both businesses have become narrative experts as a result of their battle, employing memorable jingles, catchphrases, and celebrity endorsements to captivate the public. Both companies' influence has expanded beyond soft drinks to include cultural identification symbols. Pepsi has established itself as a young, forward-thinking substitute, whereas Coca-Cola, with its iconic red and white logo, has come to represent American culture. The two businesses are global cultural icons in addition to being beverage manufacturers. The struggle goes on. Coca-Cola and Pepsi's battle is far from ended. Both businesses are still innovating, competing, and adjusting to a world that is changing. Pepsi and Coca-Cola will probably keep tweaking and modifying their business plans in order to remain relevant as the soft drink sector deals with new issues like growing health concerns and shifting consumer tastes. One thing is for sure, though, their struggle for supremacy will always rank among the most intriguing commercial rivalry in history. Don't miss out on more exciting stories and insights. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Stay tuned for more.